December the 30th, 2021, next to the last day of the year. We're going to town today, and we're doing a little video. There's many feet. You've heard how many feet, 10, 12, 15 feet of snow in California. Well, we're close to California, and as you can see, there's a whole lot of snow out there. I mean, a lot. So we're going down the road doing another little dash cam view here. It seemed like a lot of people like to do this, so we're going to put it out there on YouTube, and so you can see it. The road is pretty clear at this time. There's our little mascot there. Our little basset hound. The snow is getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper as we get up here a little bit higher. We're probably about 6,000 feet right now, somewhere around there. We'll see what it looks like later on down the road. I need to get a mount to put on the camera with this on the dash. Looking out there to the heavy snows. A lot of horses, wild horses all over, but they're down low. Much lower than what they normally have been. There's plenty of water for them to, by eating snow or licking the snow. They've done a good job clearing the roads off. Look out there again. I don't know whether we'll see a gigantic antelope herd like we did the other day. I need to take you on the other side over there where the elk herds are. There's 50 to 100 elk in herds now, or more. We used to be able to see deer in herds up to 500 or so. I don't know how well that'll set there. We'll see. A little bit crooked. I hope you're enjoying the little video here. As you can see, the snow is getting deeper and deeper and deeper on the side of the road. It snowed last night also. I'm glad that they got the road kind of cleared up. This is the canyon here where all the horses and the antelope and the bighorn sheep and everything cross the road. There elk come through here occasionally. There's black ice on the road there in places. Comes a traveler. Side of the road is getting a little deeper. Tone Paul one way and Bishop the other. Doesn't look like anything's coming, so we'll make a high dramatic stop. A rolling stop. One of those high dramatic stops. Looking out this way toward Fish Lake Valley now. That's those big white mountains. It's still snowing up there today on top. Of course, the top's 14,000 feet or so. Looks like we're going to drive into the clouds. Here.
What?
Looks like we're going to drive into the clouds here.
Yeah.
And you keep on the outlook for all of these antelope and wild horses. Had a horrible ophthalmic migraine last night, and this snow with the sun shining on it is a little hard on my eyes. I preached last night, but I could only see half of the page. I looked at Marilyn's face, and the left side of her face, as I was looking at her, I could see, but the right side I could not see. Then it started with halos and sparklers falling down like snow, and that sure was an indicator of ophthalmic migraine, and the halos and things are terrible. I've had that extremely severe since the propane poisoning. I've had it in the past once every 2 or 3 years, but it's not been that way since I was poisoned in September. That way you'll know why I was a little weird when I was trying to teach last night on Exodus class number 94, when I couldn't see what I was reading. I had to just remember what was there, do the best I can. We're supposed to preach when it's convenient and when it's inconvenient. And that was definitely inconvenient at that moment. But doing the best I could.
It looks like Alaska, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks like Alaska here. You can hardly see the sagebrush now. The snow is just about as deep as the sagebrush. You can see it sticking up a little bit where the horses and the antelope can eat the top of it a little bit. They don't have to worry about water. It's 34 degrees outside, just above freezing. Here is the snowy country. We'll be coming up to the Hawthorne cutoff pretty soon. Here comes another traveler coming down the road. Like we got black ice here in the shadows. Have to watch out for that. I don't like being going around 360 degrees real fast. Looks like lots of trucks. Trucks are very necessary on the road. I just wish we had a little majority of real good truck drivers. Doesn't seem like that anymore. Hopefully. This guy won't pull out in front of me. The snow here is very deep, as you can see. They got it cleaned off the road fairly well, but there are black ice areas as we're going up the road. 18 miles from Bishop and 52 miles from Bishop where we have to go. Lots of traffic. A lot of traffic coming this way because they can't go on Highway 395. There was going to be a hay hauler there, I think, going into Fish Lake Valley probably. As you can see, the snow is getting deeper and deeper up here. We're not going through snow tunnels yet, which I've seen in the past. What do you think about this, Marilyn?
It looks beautiful.
Yes, it is.
I'm glad I'm inside where it's warm.
Yeah, it's 32 degrees outside now, it says. Still at the freezing point. We're going to go through an area here where there's black ice sometimes. There goes a car hauler with no cars. There's a shortage of cars for some reason. Hardly anyone's building cars or something right now. They hardly have any cars on the car lots because they can't get them. This economy is in a mess. And I think it's intentional disaster. Or else extreme ignorance, one or the other, but I think it's more intentional. Now we're going to go into the clouds pretty soon, it looks like. There are places in the Sierras, though, where the trees are completely covered up, and some of them are 100 feet tall, and you can't see them. Mammoth, which is a big ski area, was closed because nobody could get in and out of there. Anyway, this is what it looks like up here in the western edge of Nevada. Central western edge. I'll set this camera down again for a few minutes, see if it'll stay there. Probably not. Let's pick it up. Looks like the snowplow is coming this way. Blowing snow off the road and ice. The road's been pretty good so far. We're coming up to the old Montgomery Pass Casino, Soppers Casino, and hotels and motels, and it's all abandoned now. Now you can see here there's 6 and 8 foot of snow here in places.
Look at
Really,
that.
really deep.
Oh boy.
Deep, deep, deep snow.
Really deep.
There are places out there that pile snow up 15 feet tall. Now you can see the weather. I have to go back to Bishop again probably this weekend sometime. Now we're going down into the Netherland here in the clouds. I got our little fella here, friend up here maybe. Maybe I can set the camera on him. That's not working off, maybe. Plowing the snow from here this morning. take it
Look at
easy.
that. I think there's more snow this time than
Oh,
the
that's a
last
lot more
time.
snow now. We've had 2 or 3 snowstorms since we were over here the other day. Anyway, I don't know how well that's showing. See down there, it's several feet deep of snow in places. We're using our lower gears going down this mountain, of course. I came up here the other night. The snow was so deep that you could not see the top of those signs on the side. You had to see only the orange or reddish part at the top. They were all covered. The road was that deep in snow. Only thing you see here is a ribbon of highway. The rest of it's pretty much white. Getting a good picture of this. They don't have very many turnouts plowed off. They're lucky to get the road plowed. Truck going to Fish Lake Valley. It's a highway contract carrier, so it doesn't say U.S. mail on it. Here's something. Somebody out there in an open tractor plowing. Trying to get their road open to their place, I guess. That's got to be a cold job right now, since it is 29 degrees out there. Did you see that guy plowing the tractor back there, Mary?
Yes,
He can't get in and out of their property.
No.
You'll see up here, there's they're not plowing into the branches and things. Just trying to keep the road plowed off. Gonna come up to Janie's pretty soon here. What used to be Janie's. In the old days, we had a whole lot more snow. This is pretty deep snow now. Sometimes we have 6 or 8 foot of snow off the side of the road, like you're driving through a tunnel. And Maryland has seen that also through here a lot. But Janie's was a brothel, and if somebody got stranded, they would give them a bed to sleep in and food to eat. And it was a very important place back in those days because of the terrible blizzards we had up here. People field, there is no place else to go. So they would say on CB radio and contacting truck drivers and drivers that if they needed help or were stranded, that's where they were, on such and such a mile marker. Trucks were lined up on the Los Angeles freeway here a few days ago. Still a lot of traffic coming through here because they can't go anyplace else. There's still a lot of roads closed. Into the golden state of California, where corruption and skullduggery abounds. You can go into the store now, according to the law, and steal $1,000 worth of I gotta go to the
You're running.
Fish Lake Valley. We had to go through the check station here going into California, and all I have to do is say Fish Lake Valley because we're locals up here. And you can see the heavy snow. We missed quite a bit of the landscape here because I had a phone call from my insurance adjuster for damage on my house. And so I had to talk to him, and I'm sorry I had to cut you off there, but I couldn't do anything about it. We're coming up to Benton, California again. We'll see how it is here. It doesn't look like it snowed as much here as it did up between by Janie's up there. It was pretty heavy snow. Enjoying the winter wonderland.
I am.
And this is the I guess the highest population of jumping cactus here. They're jumping cactus, but most of it's under snow out there. The reason they call it jumping cactus because they say if your horse gets within 30 feet of it, he's going to get it in your legs or someplace, because it actually blows off and falls off, and it's all over the strewn all over the pathways there, and they kick it up and get it in their legs and things. It's a horrible experience because it's like porcupine quills and barbs. It has barbs on it, and anyway, you can't hardly get it out. It's terrible. I had 3 operations on my left foot because it went to the sole of my foot, and I didn't even know it. And it just kept going deeper and deeper. As you can see here, the snow is really, really deep. Looks like they finally might have got the post office open, maybe. It was snowed in. There's a 10-foot more or more snow piles out around the schools here and things. Like they got a path where they opened the store finally. Looks like it might be snowing in Bishop. It was snowing in Bishop yesterday. Winter Wonderland up here. You missed some of the best part of it because I had to shut the camera off. high snow is 3 to 6 foot deep. Tractor with a blade would be very busy up here, but it better be four-wheel drive. Used to come through here and we'd see up to 500 deer standing out in the fields here, but I haven't seen that for a long time. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. We'll look out there and see if anything's in the field today. I don't see any deer out there today. There's a deer crossing right here. They used to migrate from the Sierras to here, and it would just be hundreds of deer standing out in the alfalfa fields here. Looks like there might be a few over there at one edge. Just a few.
Way over there.
Yeah, way over there. Can't turn the camera there now. We're coming down and that ran a motorhome off the road up here and completely destroyed the motorhome. It's just nothing but pieces. Not too far from here. It's just down in a ditch turned upside down. So it was pretty heavy snow here in places. See Bishop, so it may be snowing in Bishop, I don't know. The Sierra Nevadas are over there, and there's I think they got in some places 20 to 30 foot of snow in the last storms. 395 and Lake Tahoe, Reno, Carson City, a lot of the roads were completely shut down. You couldn't travel on them at all. Very deep in snow. We're driving an all-wheel drive vehicle here. The Tundra is better because it's got real aggressive mud with no tires on it. But we left it home today. This is more comfortable for me to drive. Weather station there for Caltrans. My friend John, NW6C, helped develop all of them all over California. Dropping down in Hamel Valley now. Over here some places where that wrecked motorhome is. They ran me off the road right here the other night someplace. I got off without turning over. Pulled over to let these two trucks go by, except there was no one was coming, but they would not get out of my lane. They just stayed in my lane and ran me off the road, which was very, very dangerous. I could have been upside down in the ditch like this motorhome is down here. Down in Hamel Valley, it doesn't look like they have as much snow here as we had in other places. It was about 4 inches of snow or 5 inches on the road the other day when I came through here on late Monday night or Tuesday morning, whatever you want to call it, but it was about midnight when I came through here. It took me from 10 o'clock to 2:30 in the morning to get home from Bishop, California. And it's only like 70 miles altogether. up this mess down here or not. What happened? Looks like somebody might be doing something. That motorhome is just an absolute splinters, with its feet in the air, with its tires in the air. You can't see the Sierras today. I think we're coming up on the wreck now, maybe. Yes, I think that's the wreck. See if I can get over there and look at it a little bit. Nobody's on that side of the road.
Look at that.
There's what's left of it right there. As you can see, just destroyed. Not much left. I hope they didn't get hurt badly. And hopefully not killed. Now we're getting into the less snowy area. Show you a little bit of this country here. While I've got you on the camera. Like I said, we're going through Hamel Valley now. A lot of farming in here. Real good farmland. Horse training stables around here. Might leave this on all the way to Bishop, maybe. So you can see the beautiful little town of Bishop. The fence blew down there. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's laying on the ground. Blew out of the post holes and are laying on the ground. I have seen wolves down here in this area, off the road. Haven't seen them for a while. Sheep out here sheeping off the fields. They eat the fields down. We'll see some sheep pretty soon, especially when we get down there here by Zach Ranch, etc. Gotten pretty warm here. It is 37 degrees, so it's melting the snow a little bit.
There's a sheep.
There's sheep out there in the fields.
There's some coming up.
Yeah, we've got some coming up here too. A lot of sheep right here on this field. If you can see out there. See them. There's a lot of sheep out there. The little guys do a good job. 1,000 of them or more out there on that side. And we went by about another 1,000 in another field. You can see the Sierra Mountains over there a little bit. 37 degrees out here. This is a lot warmer than it was up above. Snow on top. Like about a foot or more snow on top of that one. More sheep out in the field. Going by. Doesn't look like there's many there. Just a couple hundred maybe. Laying around out there. Hopefully a coyote won't get after them. There's all kinds of irrigation out here. We got wheel lines there, we got hand lines, and we got pivots here. Wheel line is what you start a little motor and it pulls itself into another position for watering. The pivots over here to the left, they go in a round circle, and so you miss all the corners of the field. You lose a lot of valuable land doing that, but it's a whole lot less labor. And here comes somebody really fast behind me. Try to get around this truck. The truck's going pretty slow. He's actually doing his speed limit. The speed limit here is 65 miles an hour. He's doing 55 to 60, which is a whole lot better. They don't usually do that. They usually drive 70 and 80 mile an hour here. Going into Chalifont Valley. Here goes a lady truck driver. Pickup truck driver, that is. Getting closer to Bishop. See this pretty country up here. This is some of the prettiest country in the world up here. Bishop is, well, Maryland thinks Bishop's the prettiest country she'd ever been in, which I think it is also. There's some beautiful places, especially on the coast and things, but Bishop has just got all of it. It's just got all of it beat. Go down this hill maybe and see if nobody's coming. I'll get around this truck. See a truck coming. These mountains over there are 12 and 13,000 feet. The ones to the left are 14,000. Mount Whitney is 14,600 and something foot, but there's only one peak there that's tall like that. White Mountain, there's a lot of 14,000 foot up there. This is coming down the Charlotte Valley now. Get around these trucks here. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. Try not to take any chances. Any more than I have to. Snow down in this valley. It's 38 degrees, that's why it's melting. Now you get to go on a road trip with us for quite a way. We got about 10 more miles to Bishop. And we'll leave this on for a while so you can see what our little town of Bishop looks like. This is our hometown, basically. Most of the children in Fish Lake Valley now go to Bishop High School. We don't have a high school in Fish Lake Valley. When I was a child, we only had two-room schoolhouse from the 1st to the 4th grade and from the 5th to the 9th grade. And from then on, they'd have to come, they'd go to Tonopah at that time. And one of our residents, Mark Johnson, was one of the teachers, and Rusty at Tonopah. Rusty taught a lot in Fish Lake Valley at the Dyer School. But they started busing the children to Bishop instead of to Tonopah, Nevada for some reason. Part of Fish Lake Valley, south part of it, is in California. That's where I lived when I first moved up here in the early 1950s. And we had to go to school in Nevada. They closed the Oasis School down in 1958 or 57. 57 was the last year, I believe, that they had school there. And then they had to go to Dyer School. They drive a bus down there within 1 mile of my ranch where I lived, and I had to walk that mile. And it wasn't bad in the fall or the late spring, but in the wintertime that was a long mile because it was usually in deep snow and very cold, and a lot of times the wind was blowing like mad. Now we're coming up the Charlotte Valley. Outside of Bishop. We got one more town to go through. Of course, you won't know when you go through there. It's Laws. There's the Laws Railroad Museum there, and there is a video on our road trip to the Laws Railroad Museum, and we got the ride in the actually the engine, the steam engine, for over an hour. Between an hour and 2 hours, we were in that steam engine going back and forth. Marilyn got to blow the whistle, ring the bell, and she had a lot of fun doing that, didn't you?
Yes.
All right. Now we've gone through Charlotte, and then there's another little place up here called White Mountain Estates. Here, just a few miles more to go to Bishop. Hope you're enjoying our little trip. Marilyn watches these road trips on YouTube all the time. very deep. A lot of these trucks, when we came out here the other day, the trucks were bumper to bumper, going both directions, along with the cars, because there was no other roads open at all. Nevada takes pretty good care of the roads. UPS truck up there going around. They're out in our area. We have UPS delivering all the time. I see them way after dark at night time, and sometimes they're early in the morning. Same thing with FedEx. Just along for the ride. She's sightseeing today. I wanted to do 3 messages last night, but I had this ophthalmic migraine where I couldn't see. And I only got 1 message done, and that was really with a lot of torture. The torturous message. I hope God uses it, because it sure wasn't easy. We're supposed to be preach in season, then out of season. That was definitely out of season, that last night or something else. But I had a good message there in the Word. I just hope it made it out okay. I was very embarrassed because I couldn't read. I was just trying to remember what it said and see a little bit. The Hebrew was a little easier than the Greek was because I had handwritten it larger. I'm almost a bishop. It's a pretty place. Especially when you see all the mountains. On both sides of the valley, there's mountains. Tall mountains. I think you were in the Swiss Alps or something. And a lot of the decoration or the ambience of Bishop is made like the Swiss Alps or something. The buildings are built like that. You'll see here in a few minutes, hopefully. This looks like dead ground out here, but that is extremely lush cattle feed. I don't know whether any of you ever had a cow fattened on sagebrush, but it's a whole lot different than these fattened on spoiled onions and carrots and everything else that they put in these feedlots. You see a lot of cattle out here, but there's wild horses and antelope and bighorn sheep and mule deer all over the place. And I will see a mule deer run across the road from you down here in town. Some of them will just come up and look at you. My friend Bill Chisholm the other day, he sent a picture of me while he's feeding a big buck, a great big wide rack forked horn, very large forked horn. He's feeding it a piece of bread and it's eating out of his hand. You ought to see anything around this area. There's because there is a lot of wildlife, and that sage out there is really nutritious. Get over toward Tonopah and there's just not a lot of it. You have to have about 100 acres or 200 acres per cow to keep them alive over in that country. Here it's lush. There's all kinds of creeks coming down here. We went by 2 or 3 of them already. We're going to go over the Owens River pretty soon. The Owens River is a pretty good sized river. We used to go down to Owens Lake, but the LA Water and Power bought up all the water rights. Supposedly they're going to develop this country up here. It was just a facade, a lie. Anyway, they took all the water to LA. LA wouldn't exist without this water up here, except they won't even let the people in Mammoth wash their cars. They can't use the water.
Is this Laws?
Yeah. This is Laws here. We're going through Laws now. That's where the Railroad Museum is out there. Maryland got to toot the horn and ring the bells. Or blow the whistle, I should say. You blow the whistle so many times going forward and so many times going backwards, and then you ring the bell all the time you're doing something. And there's the Laws Railroad Museum sign right there ahead of you. We're going over the Owens River right now. Looks like somebody's out here fishing. Been fishing. It's bank to bank. There'll be a lot of runoff this year. Probably a lot of flooding. 5 years ago they didn't really gonna put on water. Our creek there, Cactus Creek, where we live, was 50 feet wide in some places with a heavy runoff. Red Flag Fire Patrol. I don't think there's any fires around any place right now. Cars are coming. Lots of automobiles on the road. We'll come up to the pretty town of Bishop, California real soon. All of these towns up here have giant redwood trees in them, or sequoias. They planted them here around 1900. Almost every town has one. There was one in Big Pine, there right where 168 goes off, except the LA Water and Power cut the water off to it, and it died. And Teddy Roosevelt had planted that tree, called the Roosevelt tree. But for some reason, they weren't going to let the water go by there anymore, and the tree died of thirst. We're going over the North Fork of Bishop Creek now, which is a big creek, like a river. A lot of people camp here in Bishop, right here. There was the Ford dealership, which went kabunk. We even have a grocery outlet and several businesses. We could have a whole lot more. Railroad feed, we have Bonds there, Smart and Final. You can look up in the mountains there and see the mountains. There's not clear enough where you can see those tall peaks. The tall peaks are 11 to 12,000 feet above here. The elevation of Bishop is about 4,000 feet. That's the fairgrounds where they had the world famous mule days. Now we're going to go through the town of Bishop. Have Denny's and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Pizza Factory, even a Motel 6, and some gun and ammo shops. We had a Kmart. Kmart walked off and left us.
Shatz.
2 times. Shatz Roadhouse, and then Shatz Bakery will be down here. That's pretty world famous. Cars with snow on them. Probably came out of the Lake Tahoe trying to get back home. Maybe out of Mammoth. A lot of millionaires live in Mammoth. They come out of LA, a lot of them. Up here ahead to the right is the Shatz Bakery. Like there's a lot of people going to try to go in there, maybe. You can smell Carl Jr. Boy, they're really loaded today.
They are.
Probably Denny's won't be loaded because the food is so bad. There's the bowling alley, which is a pretty good place to eat. As you can see, some of these things look like alpine buildings here.
There's the El Dorado Bank.
Yeah, there's Jack's Waffle Shop, where we used to eat a lot, and Mac's Sporting Goods, and the Chase Bank that just up and closed on us. Decided to close the door without any notice at all. This is the Bishop Theater down here. Right there, Spider-Man and Sing 2. Oh, we had the world famous Joseph Markets here, and they've closed too. Got to go turn right and go up Line Street. Line Street goes up to Lake Sabrina and all the way up into the Sierras that way, which is beautiful. They have many parks because there's creeks running all through town here. There's just creeks everywhere. A lot of water. That's why LA Water Power came up here. They wanted to get the water. Alright, this is going up Line Street. The City Hall. There. Drive straight up this thing and you'll start going back up in the mountains and the different reservoirs and power plants and things up there. We're going by the post office here in a moment. Dwayne's Friendly Pharmacy, a real pharmacy, is still open. And we got to go right in here. This is where we're going. In this little shopping center, and down here is where I gave a lot of ham radio tests down at the Salvation Army. So we're going to turn the camera off now.